following up with me, very assiduously, I must say. He ensured that, despite all my hectic schedule, I make it to this conference. Thank you, Sharadji, Dr. Patil, Dr. Ratnesh, and all, deans, heads of department, faculty members, and members of the management of the RKDS University, and all the dear participants from across the country who are attending this very important, conference. Uh, I wish to add here that apart from being, I would say the chief guest today, Makhanlal Chaturvedi University is also, a co-organizer, in that sense that we are also, RKDF has invited us, and we are, so we I have a, I am as much your host as much as, your guest today.
We forgot to mention, in fact, very sorry, very sorry. No, you are very much a great support to us.
So, it's a pleasure. RKDF has been doing a wonderful job, and, and I wish to start that आज अंतर्राष्ट्रीय मातृभाषा दिवस है, और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय मातृभाषा दिवस के अवसर पर मैं आप सबको बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। अंतर्राष्ट्रीय मातृभाषा दिवस इस वर्ष इसलिए भी महत्वपूर्ण है क्योंकि आज, वैसे मैंने सोच रखा कि मैं आज तो सिर्फ मातृभाषा में ही बात करूंगा, लेकिन आई एम टोल्ड दैट देयर आर फैकल्टी मेंबर्स फ्रॉम अक्रॉस द कंट्री, सो आई विल मेक इट इंग्लिश। सो अंतर्राष्ट्रीय मातृभाषा दिवस का महत्व इसलिए भी बढ़ गया है क्योंकि अब राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति, द नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी, gives a lot of importance to our own languages. In fact, it is the soul of the national education policy, where we are no more talking just about the introduction of national, our national languages, our official language, our Rajbhasha, into at the primary stage, but we are talking about higher education. In fact, so much so that the other day I was talking to, the vice chancellor of the Hindi University in भोपाल, और वो मुझे बता रहे थे कि अब मेडिकल एजुकेशन भी जो है अब हिंदी में जो है MBBS की भी पूरी तरह तैयारी चल रही है। फर्स्ट ईयर का कोर्स, कल रात को ही उन्होंने मुझे बताया कि फर्स्ट ईयर का कोर्स तो पाठ्यक्रम तो तैयार हो गया है। मतलब इस तरीके से आज भारतीय भाषाओं को जो महत्व मिल रहा है, विच इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। प्लीज रिमेंबर दैट दिस इंटरनेशनल मदर लैंग्वेजेस डे इज सेलिब्रेटेड टू कमेमोरेट, in a way, the language movement in Bangladesh, because way back in 1947 somebody thought that it is religion which constitutes a nation, but that was disproved by the Bangladesh liberation, which emphasized that it is culture and language, which brings people together, and not religion, as such. You cannot have nations based on the basis of religion. It is culture that matters, it is language that matters, and इसलिए बांग्लादेश का जो movement था, उसमें 7 people were shot dead on this day because they were protesting against the imposition of Urdu, and in a hugely Bangla speaking country. And that is why today, so the importance of languages has been adequately emphasized in the national education policy. I believe that the keynote speaker, Dr. Yamini, has also joined. My greetings to her also. Now, let me very briefly, because talk about national education policy, for the simple reason that we are among the first universities in the country, my university, which has implemented already the new education policy. We have introduced 7 new courses, UG program, 4-year UG programs under the NEP. And of these 7 programs, 5 are in media education alone. it was a very difficult task. It was not easy because except for that 64-page document, we had no reference material, And that is the beauty of the challenge also. But we decided to go ahead. We virtually started from the scratch. We had nothing to replicate. We had no draft in front of us. But with advice of help, the Madhya Pradesh government has been doing a lot of course, engagement on this, meetings by the Niji Vishwavidyalaya Viniyamak Ayog, and a lot of organizations like the Bharatiya Shikshan Mandal, Uच्च Shiksha Utthan Sansthan, Vidya Bharati. They have been all doing a lot of programs, here. And this has given us a lot of expertise. We took the advice of a lot of experts from across the country, the members of the drafting committee, and so we finally, implemented it. Now there are some key areas I want to talk about in the NEP, how it is a game changer. You see, the first you ask me, what is it that NEP has changed? The best thing about the NEP was that unlike other government documents which generally any government is in power, all policies are generally criticized by the opposition. This was one policy which was not criticized by any political party. The only criticism was that is it possible to implement it? People felt that this is too idealist, बहुत ही आदर्शवादी है, ये पता नहीं इसको हम लागू कर पाएंगे या नहीं. That was the big question. But ये कर सकते हैं, हमने करके देखा है. Now there are a couple of things which we need to understand. NEP, the biggest change is that NEP makes education a lifelong process. NEP ensures that through its flexibility, through its ACBs, academic credit banks, what NEP does is that today, if due to financial reasons, family reasons, if I am unable to continue my studies, I can take a certificate, a diploma and exit. And later on join any part of the country, any university, and I can continue my education in any time of my life. So NEP makes education a lifelong process, unlike what it was that during our younger age we join somewhere, complete our education, then we are into our jobs and careers. The second thing is that, which I have already mentioned, is that जो भाषाओं पर जो जोर दिया गया है. Now what it enables, it's not just an idealistic situation, is that you dream in your language. I may be fluent in English, I may be fluent in any other language, but at the end of the day, when I suffer from some pain, I shout, I cry, Amma, because I remember my mother in my language, I don't say mother, I don't say like that. Oh ma, that is the first thing that comes to you. So it comes from within, deep inside. You dream in your language. You don't dream in English or French or German, You dream in your language. So the originality is retained. You are able to think. You think in your language. What we do is that we think in our language, then we process it, translate it, and then we, put across. But that's not the way, it ought to be. It ought to be that we think in our language and we express ourselves in our language. So is there opportunities for that? This would enable a lot of, this is going to lead to democratization of education in a big way. Because I am saying this with experience. I was the Director General of Indian Institute of Mass Communication, and we had campuses all over the country. And I introduced language journalism programs. We used to teach only English journalism at our campuses. हमने महाराष्ट्र से मराठी पत्रकारिता शुरू किया, केरल से मलयालम पत्रकारिता we started. And I remember I mean, here the host introduced me and said that I've received this award, that award. Believe me, the greatest award that I received was when a student from the Vidarbha region of Maharashtra met me somewhere and told me, "Sir, I was born and brought up in Vidarbha. I have remote understanding of English. I have learnt only Marathi throughout my life. I could never visualize that I could ever study in a premier institution like the Indian Institute of Mass Communication. But by introducing a postgraduate diploma program in Marathi journalism, you have enabled me, living in a backward area, speaking only my language, also to study in that premier language. And today I am a proud product of IIMC. And I thank you for this opportunity." For me, that was the biggest award. This is what we all should be doing, making education, higher education, technical education, accessible to the person living in the remotest corners of the country who can only speak in his language, his or her language. The third emphasis is that, and I'll try to wind up because I believe you are all waiting for, Dr. Yamini to speak. The third emphasis is that on research. You see, we as a country, we are among the best teachers, we have the best students. Our students are now the CEOs of the top companies, global Fortune 500 companies. They are among the best doctors in London and Singapore. They are among the best scientists in NASA. So that means that Indian education is not bad, right? I mean, we have good teachers and great students. Then what is wrong? Why is it that despite that we don't figure anywhere? I mean, we hardly one or two figure in the top 100 universities. In the global rankings, we don't figure. And that is because we have been following a model, a university model, which is based on teaching and learning. We have been more of teaching and learning centers, not research institutions. So the government has now set up the National Research Foundation. So there's a big push to research. That is going to be the game changer in education. This education is student centric. The NEP is student centric. And believe me, after perusing all the documents and the subsequent, statements and instructions coming from UGC and AIU, I can tell you one thing, that this entire system, the new education policy, success depends on the teacher in the classroom. He or she is going to make all the difference. No vice chancellor, Sohani Saab, you and me stand nowhere. Not the principals, not the directors and director generals. It is the teacher in the classroom who will make all the changes. And that is why this kind of FDPs and, faculty development programs and workshops are very important. Our teachers needs to be reoriented. Now the student is at the center. So for the benefit of the student, now the education has been made flexible. He or she can leave at any time, join any time. There's an academic credit bank that is coming up. The entire focus is on quality now. Accreditation. Colleges are going to be autonomous. Today morning's order, UGC, has permitted hundreds of colleges to start their own online programs. They are no more dependent on universities. They can give degrees. So autonomy is going to be the key word. Institutions are going to be autonomous. This is very important. And what are the focus areas so far as NEP is concerned? I would say that interdisciplinarity, that's going to change the whole thing. We are no more in our education system going to prepare students for examinations. हम परीक्षा के लिए नहीं तैयार करने जा रहे हैं. We are going to prepare them for life. हम उनको जीवन जीने के लिए तैयार कर रहे हैं. And that's why the entire focus is on interdisciplinarity. So a student of medicine will learn music. A student of engineering will learn mobile journalism. Now, is it possible? We are trying to do that. The generic electives are going to open vast job opportunities. Why is it that after 4 years or 5 years of study, an engineer comes and decides to become a journalist? Because he has lost those years. He has wasted his parents' money. Because he did whatever he did under parental pressure or peer pressure. Then he realizes that I am not made for it. Remember 3 Idiots? I am not made for it. I am made for something else. This interdisciplinarity will give him or her a window to alternative vocations, to alternative options. Look, if for some reason you are not able to, you can certainly pursue this also. Now that is where things are going. Now this is where now cooperation is going to be the key word. Collaboration is going to be the key word, not competition. So today there is no problem if RKDF and Makhanlal come together. Because we are not competitors, we are going to be collaborators. Because I as a university, you as a university, anybody as a university, just do not have the... Hello?
Recording in progress.
Am I audible? Hello? 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 Dr. Sharad, am I audible?
Suresh has the low bandwidth, I think, yes.
Am I audible? Am I audible? Am I audible?